guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that has been highly requested, and that is showing you guys how I edit my Instagram photos. So today I've teamed up with INSTASIZE to bring you this video. I've been using INSTASIZE for a few months now, and I have to say that I have fallen in love with it. I was a little skeptical to use it at first because if you were like me, a part of the OG Instagram users, that was really cringy, you know that you used to use INSTASIZE to make your pictures square so then you can post them on Instagram without cropping out all the good stuff. Now they are actually a full service editing app. They have lots of different features including text features, facial, little edit, filters, and just adjustments to your photos. Before I get started with this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am offering you all a 7-day free trial of INSTASIZE using my link down in the bio. If you start the 7-day trial, it will ask you to put in your card details or whatever payment options you want, just because if you decide to continue after the 7th-day trial, which I would highly recommend because I definitely did, then it will have something to charge. But my advice to you is if you don't want to end up paying and you just want to try it out with all the full features that the premium has to offer, then you can just set a reminder on your phone for 6 days and cancel it then. So I'm gonna start a little bit by talking about why I like INSTASIZE. I have used other apps such as VSCO, Facetune. There used to be this one called Afterlight. I have never used Lightroom because I do not have $1 million to spend on presets, but I also like to have an aesthetically pleasing feed. You know how that goes. So I've really struggled to find an app that has presets built in that are strong enough to make my pictures appear cohesive within my Instagram feed. If you look at my Instagram right now, which I'm kind of going along with the tan kind of feel to it, added in like the black accents. So the black kind of ties it all together without being too over the top, but I can wear whatever I want because the tan skin kind of brings it all together. Over the summer and in the spring, I like to have something super bright, but I noticed that I wasn't wearing as bright of clothes in the fall or the winter, and that I wasn't going outside as much, so nothing was naturally bright. So I decided to change it up a little bit after playing with INSTASIZE, and I found a filter that works perfectly for me. Without further ado, I'm going to get right in and show you guys how I edit my pictures right now. I've always said that it matters what the picture is before adding the filter. Like, a filter does help, but it's not going to make a pink or purple picture appear brown or black. You have to have something in the picture that ties it all together. So if that's some black in the background or you're showing your hands, that is what's gonna tie it together. It's all about how you take the picture and being very intentional about making sure that you have those colors already in your picture. Even if they're very, very subtle, I'm going to be showing you how to bring those out. Okay, so let's go right in and start with my INSTASIZE app. So we're gonna go over and go into the INSTASIZE app and open it up. This is kind of what it looks like. So it's kind of set up like an Instagram feed, which I really like because it's really easy to see if your picture is going to go along with your feed, just to make sure that it all looks cohesive. And you can also move things around, which is really cool. So if you're trying to figure out what order you wanna post your pictures in or what it would look like if a picture was gone, it's super easy just to move it around. Okay, so we're gonna start by choosing a photo. So to do that, you click the plus button, and then I will click this picture. This is just from my trip to England. So I decided to go with this picture because, like I said, it already has the colors kind of in it. So for example, it shows a lot of skin on my arm, which I can use to add in oranges to tie in with my feed. And then on the background, there are the bars for the gates on the Buckingham Palace, and those can be used to accent with the blacks. So then I'm gonna click next. And so as you can see, it's kind of set up like VSCO if you've ever used that before. The filters options look the same, but in the premium, there are so many more filters that you can use, and you have access to them all. So they're kind of separated into collections. So my favorite right now is the Spark filter. I find that this looks a lot like a Lightroom preset because it makes all my pictures look the same. I just have to make a few adjustments depending on the picture. So what I'm going to be doing is adjusting it, but this isn't the same adjustments that I make for every single picture because every picture is different. So I like to leave a lot of the spark in there. I might turn it down to like 80 just to soften it a little bit, but most of the adjustments are done in the adjustment tab. tab. So if you go into the adjustment tab, so you're going to go into the exposure first. I find that the exposure kind of washes it out, so I don't like to use it a lot. I prefer the brightness, which is something that's cool about INSTASIZE, is that it separates the two, so you can use both. So I'm going to add a little bit exposure, literally just a 3, because I do not want it to wash everything out in the picture. So that's good enough on the exposure. One thing that I think is really cool is that you can hold down on the photo to show you what it looks like before and then release to show you after. So as you can see, just with the spark applied, you can see that it's already made my picture look more orange and the background, adding the black accents in. So then I'm going to go into the contrast, and this is where I'm going to just turn it up just a little bit. This makes things stand out. I don't like to use a ton of contrast because it will make it look it'll make it kind of look sharp. So I'm just gonna add a little bit back into it, and you can see that it kind of darkens back here, the shadow of my hair, and then just things on my arms are standing out more, and then people in the background are also standing out more, which if you don't like that, you can also lower the contrast, but I think it looks pretty cool. So this is what it looks like before and after with the contrast. Now the Lux is my favorite feature of the app because it helps me achieve that black accented look that I like. Basically what it does is it takes all the dark colors and it makes them darker. So as you can see when I'm turning up the Lux, the dark things in the picture are all becoming really dark. Take the people in the background, their sweatshirts for example. When I turn it up, their sweatshirts look really dark. So I don't want it that dark, so I'm gonna turn it to about 14, and that looks pretty good. But as you can see, that kind of helps me achieve the black accent look that I like with the bars in the background because they look super dark. Now, we're going to go in with the brightness. Now I like this, like I said, because it does separate it, but this just helps whiten out the background. As you can see up by Buckingham Palace in the top left corner, you can see there's a little bit of sky, and when you add the brightness, it just makes that look white. I think this is really nice, and especially when my feed was a lot brighter over the summer, this just helped whiten out the background, but also make it look super bright and fun. So I'm gonna turn that to about 20, and that's good on the brightness. So then we're gonna go in with the saturation. This is where in times like now when I'm super pale, I like to crank that sucker up. It definitely makes my skin look more orange, which is what I like, but in this picture I am pretty tan already, so we're just gonna add a tad bit of saturation. Also, I like the saturation because in the summer when my feed was bright and there were a lot of colors, it doesn't just work on the bright colors. Or it doesn't just work on the skin colors, it also works on any color in the picture. So for pictures that have a lot of color, turning up that saturation just makes them look so much brighter. But use it with caution because you don't want to end up looking like a 6th grade boy playing basketball edited it. No offense, but the pictures with the bright, you know what I'm talking about. So this is where we stand right now, a little before and after. Moving into the tint, this is where I like to play around a little bit. I hate turning the tint down because when you turn the tint down, it makes it look green. When you turn the tint up, it makes it look pink. I like the pink, and that's kind of what I'm going for. I used a lot of that over the summer. As you can see, it kind of makes the palace look a little more pink, and just facial features also look a little more pink. So I don't like using a ton, but we're gonna turn it up to about 15, and you can see that it really just kind of changes the palace color, which I like that, and also just bringing some color back into my face. So that's what the tint does. Now moving into the warmth, it kind of works the same way, but it makes a picture look more bluish or more like tan-ish. So for this particular photo, I'm going to turn the warmth down because I did add some saturation. Now if you turn the warmth up, it makes it look like bright summertime. Turn it down, it makes it look like cold winter. So I'm just going to turn it to about an 8. I think that adds just some of the blue back in without me looking too washed out, but it also kind of mellows all the tan out in the photo. So a little before and after of that picture, that looks good. And now the highlights, this is what I really like because I feel like when you add really heavy presets or really heavy filters to your photos, that it takes out some of the natural things, especially in your face. It can make you look super airbrushed, or in the background, it makes things look really flat. So if you add in the highlights, it just kind of brings those things back out. So you can see some lines in my cheeks are coming back out and some things in my arms. So I'm just gonna add the highlights back into 23. Sometimes when pictures are really dull, I add the highlights really high up, but this one's pretty good. So we're gonna add to 23. And then we're gonna go over into shadows, and you can see that under here I have a really harsh shadow underneath my jawline, which sometimes is fine, but I'm kind of wanting to turn that down. And also like back in my hair, it's really dark. So we're gonna turn the shadows down just a little bit, not a lot, like 9 is probably good, just to kind of take away some of that. So that is it with the adjustments. So you can look before, it looked really gray, really dull, and then right now it's very vibrant and fun. With that being said, we're going to go into the facial editing. Now, I do not like when pictures look fake, but I am not opposed to adding a little whiteness back into the teeth because the filter did make them look a little orange. Like, I'm not opposed to that. And a little blemish fix, there's nothing wrong with that. Also, a pro tip with the whitening tool. So for this, I'm going to zoom into my face. You can also use the whitening tool in backgrounds to make them look more white. So for example, when I was editing a picture last week, it was in my room and it made my ceiling look super duper orange, and I didn't want that. I didn't want the background to look orange. So I just used the teeth whitening thing on the ceiling in the picture and it made it look white. And I think that's super cool. That is a little hack that I used all summer long to make my pictures look more vibrant, is that I use whitening in the background. So I'm gonna start by applying this to my teeth. I don't think they need a ton because they look pretty white in this photo already. So I'm just gonna add it in there. And then what I do is I don't leave it up to 50, definitely not. But when you click remove, it kind of does a little red mask to show you where it's at. So you can see that I got some on my lips. I do not want white on my lips. So I'm gonna adjust that. And then I'm going to go down and lighten the whitening. So I think probably like 18 is good. It's not a lot, but you can see before and after, it definitely does add some stuff into there and make it look less dark. I feel like there's some up here and I don't know why. Oh, there's some on my face. Oh no. I did not mean for that. But you can see before and after, it just kind of makes my teeth look a little more vibrant, and because the filter does make them look a little orangey because of all the things I've done to it, it just kind of adds some of that white back into it. So that is it with the teeth. And the only other thing that I like to use in the facial editing is the smooth tool. With my skin tone, I'm very like olivey tone, so if I use any kind of tanning on an app, it makes me look super orange, so I'm just not a fan. But this one actually does work pretty well, I just don't use it. So as you can see, I didn't have a lot of acne in this picture, but I had a little spot right here. So I'm gonna go in with the smooth tool and literally just tap around the spot and then turn it up just a little bit. So it just kind of blurs it out. It doesn't make it look the same color as my skin. It just blurs it out so it's not as noticeable. And you can see where it's at. So I'm gonna go in and kind of erase around it, but without touching the actual blemish. And then as you can see, it's just on the blemish. So then that's good. So then I click apply. INSTASIZE also has a series of like things that you can use to add text to your pictures. I will definitely do something in the future about how I edit my thumbnails, but you can do text, you can add backgrounds, you can add colors, you can do the old fashioned making your picture a certain size, whatever you want. I just love all the features. So with that being said, I'm going to click done and then save it to my camera roll. And it adds it to my feed. So you can kind of see what it's gonna look like. So you can see that that tan, especially on my shoulder, really goes with the cabinets in the background of the next picture, which is kind of weird. But then you can see how much that Luxe tool brought out the black in the background, especially on the gates. And it kind of ties in with Charlie's hair and then with the bracelets. So it's all about finding a cohesive factor that you want to play off of. So for me, that was the tan on the skin and little black accents. And those are so easy to find. So that is kind of the end of my tutorial. So that's kind of how I edit my Instagram, that is how I edit my Instagram photos. Like I said, that's just kind of for how my feed is right now. I think I did an okay job, hopefully, of explaining how all the features in INSTASIZE work. So that way you can do everything in one place, which definitely the premium is worth it. If you decide to go on after the free trial, I think it's like $5.99 per month, but that's so cheap compared to other editing apps, or if you were to get something like Lightroom to install presets. I just think that it helps me have a really cohesive feed. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and let me know. Also, if you download my free trial, send me a screenshot. I don't know, I might do a giveaway. I don't know. Just let me know if you try my free trial. If you like it, let me know as well. I'm really excited to be working with INSTASIZE because I finally found something that makes my feed look very cohesive, and I'm very happy with that. So I hope you guys like it too, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!